Good morning, or perhaps good afternoon, or good evening. Today we are going to talk about poetry. I have a true or false question for you. Do you think that poetry can be fiction or nonfiction? What's your answer? That is true. Poetry can be about real things and give us facts and information. When a poet writes a poem, just like when an author writes a book, they have to decide if the poem will be fiction or nonfiction. Let's say that I wanted to write a poem about a snake. I could write a nonfiction poem about a cobra named Lucy I saw at the zoo. Lucy the cobra, as rare as a diamond, with scales white and pink. I don't want to get too close, is what I really think. Lucy lives in the Monterey Zoo. Her discovery is rather new. She will flare her neck to say, better stay away today. So if I write about something that happened to me, it is nonfiction. Also, if I include true facts and information, the poem is probably nonfiction as well. Cobras do flare their necks, and that is one way that they get their predators to stay away because it makes them look bigger. And there is a cobra named Lucy who lives in the Monterey Zoo. I could also write a fiction poem, Cool Zool. Cool Zool is my name. Playing Fortnite is my game. You'll see me hanging with my cool fade and wearing sunglasses, even though I'm in the shade. Let's take a look at some other poems about snakes. Which ones are fiction? Which ones are nonfiction? Boa constrictor. Oh, I'm being eaten by a boa constrictor. A boa constrictor. A boa constrictor. I'm being eaten by a boa constrictor, and I don't like it one bit. Well, what do you know? It's nibbling my toe. Oh, gee, it's up to my knee. Oh, my, it's up to my thigh. Oh, fiddle, it's up to my middle. Oh, heck, it's up to my neck. Oh, dread, it's on. Okay, what do you think? Fiction or nonfiction? Fiction, definitely fiction, and fun. Our next poem is called The Hungry Snake. The snake ate a rabbit and suddenly hopped. He said, I am seasick. This hopping must stop. He let out the rabbit, then ate a big frog and found himself leaping right over a log. Snake said, I can't take it. This leaping's no good. He let out the frog. Hopping frog understood. He ate a small bird from its feet to its beak, then found himself starting to sing and to speak. He let the rabbit go and lay down for a rest. I'm hungry, he thought, but I'm scared of what's next. Okay, this is a nice poem because it has both some factual information. Snakes do eat things like frogs and rabbits. However, since the snake can talk, it does tell us that it is a fiction or a fictional poem. Let's look at our last poem on this page, Snake Traits. The slender hissing cobra is quite famous for its bite, but the wily anaconda would much rather squeeze you tight. Okay, so this one is nonfiction. Now, let's take a look at some different nonfiction poems. Even though an author is writing a nonfiction poem, they can still have some fun with it. For example, Watch Out Penguin uses rhyme. In the cold and Arctic Ocean, an emperor penguin resides. If it sees a leopard seal, it had better flee before it sees the seal's insides. So even though this is a nonfiction poem, the author has used rhyme. The next poem, called Emperor Penguin, we can see is a concrete poem because the words take the shape of a penguin. Now, all the information inside the poem is correct. Let's see, it's kind of hard for me to read, but I'll do my best. Penguins like to stand together, keeping warm by sharing feather. Some in the center hug, some out. All take their turn and turn about. Their layers of feathers form a roof to make them wind and waterproof. They keep their chicks warm on their feet and can recycle body heat. Their bills and flippers small in shape to help stop any heat escape. Penguins sound like trumpets talking and look most comical when walking. But on their stomachs they can ski over the ice fields to the sea. And when they dive in, just like that, they turn from clown to acrobat. So this concrete poem also used rhyme. Now let's take a look at a couple of other poems. Okay. And try to decide which one is nonfiction and which one is fiction. Sometimes you might use the picture to help you. You probably already have picked out which one is fiction. Okay, so the first poem is called Basilic. I am a green basilic sleeping on a rock in a Central American rainforest next to a pool. E-e-e-eek. The shrill cry of a hawk rents the still air like a knife waking me. I stay stock still, not daring even to breathe. Okay, so you might have already predicted that that one is the nonfiction poem. The next poem is called Izzard the Lizard. My name is Izzard the Lizard. I don't slither or crawl. I don't like the sand. I don't like it at all. It's tiny and grimy. It's dirty and gross. It sticks to my tail and between my toes. So I bought this broom from a coyote named Tom. I've been sweeping since then, and I shall sweep from now on. Okay, so definitely that one is fiction and a lot of fun. How about this poem? Is this one fiction or nonfiction? The Mountain Chicken. I am called the Mountain Chicken, but I never ever cluck. You'll find me in Dominica if you have any luck. I do not peck. I do not scratch. My name must be a joke. I do not strut. Instead I hop. I do not cluck. I croak. Don't look inside the chicken coop. I'm underneath this log. I'm really not a chicken. See, I really am a... What do you guys think? Frog. Okay. This is a fun nonfiction poem about a frog called a chicken frog. This frog is found on some Caribbean islands, and yes, people do eat them there. And apparently they taste like chicken. So that author really had fun with that nonfiction poem. So I am going to leave you with a poem about poetry. A poem, as you now know, can be fiction or nonfiction. So the next time you decide to write about a dark and scary night, remember the poem can be totally fake and be about a giant polka-dotted snake that ate your tent and your sister too, and then turned the grass blue. Or the poem can be true about a visit to the zoo, where you found that there are over 300 different kinds of flowering clover on which rabbits like to munch when they are eating their dinner or lunch. Until next time, have a great rest of the day. Bye-bye.